Well, it's been a long road throughout the last 24 hours. Eastern Division play, and it's next to last week. We started Western Division play today as well. This is our fifth best of three, and what you know, it's going the distance. Rising Stars still in search of their first win throughout their entire schedule. No longer playing for a chance at the playoffs, but playing for pride, and look to get some pride under their belt against TongFu. Game 3 of our final best of 3 of the night on the way. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers, joined for the final time tonight by Ben Merlini Wu. I'll tell you what, Merlini, it's been a fun past 24 hours. To tell you the truth, it ain't over yet. We got 2 more series coming up in like 6 hours, something like that. So be looking forward to that coming up tomorrow. But for right now, the crescendo of the evening as Rising Stars looks to finally string.
You mean today, man? It's less than a few hours.
No joke. It is already today. Today, tomorrow, whatever. Like, I was talking to Conrad about that. Whenever you're doing schedules like this, it's like day-night cycles stop mattering. It's just all about when you sleep. It's still today until I fall asleep, and haven't done that quite yet. But anyway, the front 2 out on both sides, Viper and Rubik. Team Green on the way, TongFu snatching up a first pick Alchemist as well as a Visage. So, this Rising Stars squad, man, I love watching them and can't wait to see how they develop out in coming months for the exact reason of what we saw in game number 2. I mean, game 1, they just got rocked. They got completely run over. Then all of a sudden they show up in game 2 and they're synergizing perfectly. Their rotations are on par. Their movement is great. They're making their lineup work in every single way. Great AA play out of CTY in the mid position. I mean, they just made everything work. So when they put the full puzzle together, it makes a damn pretty picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of their issues are actually things that are really easy to clean up. It's like, hey, you're probably overextending there. You should probably back so you don't die and stop playing so greedily. That's an easy problem to fix. Like if you like straight up like lose your lanes because you get outplayed, or you lose team fights because you get outplayed and you like let the other team get Roshan. Those are like big mistakes that are relatively difficult to correct because you like need a lot of farm. You need to be able to control the tempo, and those are things that come with a lot of experience. But a lot of the mistakes are just like, hey, Miracle, you're out too far. CTY, you're farming out too far because you're close to your veil. But remember that all of them are missing on the map right now. So like all they need to do is just like back earlier, and like if they minimized their deaths last game, it would have been like a 15,000-20,000 gold lead instead of a 12,000. So and with that, we can see them like coming a long way, and they're definitely like holding up to their namesake. They're rising stars, and a lot of people thought they had no chance versus TongFu, and I thought they had no chance versus Vici, but they have proven me wrong.
Yeah, and but by the very definition of the words, I mean, when you say no chance, you just say, well, they're going to come out, and it's going to be a skill difference kind of a thing. And against both teams, that wasn't the case at all. And I really like the way that you phrased it when we were talking about these two teams before. They took a game off of Vici Gaming, who is currently playing kind of in the middle of a peak, just hitting one of those. And you occasionally see teams do this. They just hit a peak throughout their development, and they're really, really tough for a while. Then they kind of come back down to earth. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're a bad team. Just means maybe they're not as hard to figure out as they are for that particular stretch of time. And Vici kind of is in a peak mode right now. And Rising Stars managed to take a game off of them, something DK couldn't do when they met earlier in our Eastern Division. And that speaks volumes, I think, for just how good Rising Stars can be when, as you said, they really they shore up those little things. And something that I've noticed, and I think this kind of holds true for the good performances we've seen all throughout the Eastern Division, sometimes I think it helps them a lot to have a lineup that's easy to execute. I mean, in terms of
that goes true for any team,
right? But for them in particular, because I feel like maybe when they have too much on their plate, when they're trying to do too much with these surgical kind of lineups that have to play a certain way during a certain time period and all this, they press themselves. That's where they end up making those overextension mistakes. Maybe their rotations aren't as well thought out because they feel that sense of urgency to get something done when maybe the opportunity just isn't there. Whenever they just play a solid lineup that allows each player to contribute to the best of their abilities, that's where they shine. That's where they can just say, you know what, we have a damn talented team. We have 5 excellent players, and we'll just let them develop and let us come together and our cohesiveness improve as we learn how to win together as a squad. So enough of the abstract stuff. Let's break down the draft. Morphling going to be showing his face once again. Seen Morph played a few times here in the Eastern Division with mixed results, and we'll talk a bit about that. But going to have some room potential out of Earth Shaker and Rubik. Viper, obviously, most likely going to be prioritizing an early mechanism, and TongFu going to go ahead and grab the anti-mage. So the Morphling can go something like the shotgun build, which we saw. I want to say, who was it we saw do that just the other day? Miracle, that's right. So he's going to have another chance to do it, and the anti-mage perhaps might peak a little late, especially if he's trying to split farm with this Alchemist.
This is a classic TI2 matchup.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Anti-mage versus the good old Morphling.
And it's fun watching the way that these two teams do end up matching up against each other. And, I mean, when I look at the roam potential on both sides, it seems to be through the roof. I want to say the early aggressive advantage, though, is going to go to TongFu. Visage with his mass amount of damage output, Vengeful Spirit with a very nice nuke/stun and Magic Missile plus Alchemist Unstable Concoction. If they're able to get active early, or if they're just able to match up in a nice tri lane, that's going to be tough for Rising Stars to deal with their current composition.
Yeah, I mean, they have the Viper, though. I think Viper was the hero that we saw CTY succeed with the most yesterday. It was the one game that Rising Stars actually beat Vici, so I think they really need to concentrate on refining CTY's play and just getting him good at a couple heroes, similar to like how S4 was like known for his Puck, right? Like Puck and Mag were his like two like super strong heroes, and then once they can rely on him and him just like contribute a lot with those heroes, then they can expand his repertoire to things like we saw his Magnus like just so-so, we saw his Windrunner so-so, his Ancient Apparition was pretty darn good, and they're like trying to experiment like a lot with like very wide range of stuff. They just need to give him a lot of practice so he can get his like, I think he knows how to play the hero. It's just his mid-game movement is sometimes questionable. So if they refine his play, I think that'd go a long way to improving Rising Star as a whole. In terms of lineup, nothing really to talk about here except for Morphling. For those of you that weren't paying attention to our cast yesterday, which you should every Sunday and Monday for our Eastern games, Morphling actually almost carried them to victory in a pretty much 1v5 scenario. It was like everything was just on Miracle's Morphling, and he did very well given the situation of the game. His other four teammates were, for lack of a better word, just straight up feeding.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Miracle seems to like play this like 1v5 style, just like AFK farm for like 40 minutes and then just like help his team, which works out well with someone like Morphling, does not work out so well with something like Potom. So I think if he is going to play that play style, then this is a good hero for him. But I also think he needs to be able to play and adapt to other one role styles. For example, like Black. Black is very good at Lone Druid, but other ones like besides Anti-Mage are just like meh. And it seems like the same with Miracle. His like Morphling is really good, but his other ones are like meh.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I really like the way you put it too. He, like you said, pretty much the rest of RS was feeding in that game. I was actually going to add that comment if you hadn't said it. It was something like he was, I want to say like 8-1, 9-1, while the rest of his team was all like 1-2, 1-3. I mean, they just were not having a good game. And he went the shotgun build, which certainly helped him start picking off some early kills to add to his Golden to his experience. But in the end, just not quite enough. We're going to see the return of the Bad Baby. Bad Rider, who has more or less just been nerfed into the ground by 6.79.
He's still a good hero, though.
Oh yeah, he's excellent.
You just have to be good with him.
Exactly. Well, it's no longer as simple as going, oh, there's no place for the bat to go. How about he just disappears into the jungle for 8 minutes and comes out with everything he needs for 20 minutes? And not quite that easy to do anymore. Not quite as easily to just run anyone in the game out of a solo one-on-one situation with Sticky Napalm. And it really did hurt him a lot having his base damage nerfed. You'd be surprised how much more difficult it is to last it, even with Sticky Napalm there to help him. But anyway, we're going to see the return of Magnus as well, and really liking this, man. It's funny. It's like the teams in the East and the West, as we watch them still continue to adjust to 6.79. We saw and are continuing to see them play with new heroes, but they're also going back to old heroes and saying, okay, now that we've got a grip on some of the more esoteric things that we thought might work, let's see just how well the heroes we know and love from 6.78 are going to fit into the mix.
Most of the time they do fit in, like very well. And like Shadow Demon saw a comeback today, paired with Lena. That's a very 6.78 thing. Alchemist, like seeing lots of play recently too. Lifestealer makes appears now and then. So the 6.78 strats aren't dead. I think teams are like it's still very early. Teams want experience. Teams want to figure out what works for them too, and what works for them may not work for other teams. For like a perfect case is Invoker. Invoker works very well for LGDN and DK, but other teams, can they utilize them that well? Not as well as those two teams.
And looks like we have a disconnect from CTY. Hopefully we'll have him back online in just a moment. While we do have a minute, I want to thank everyone who's been a part of our marathon cast today. And whether it's your first time hearing our voices or whether you caught maybe some earlier matches or whether you've just been parked and enjoying Dota with us all day, it's been an absolute blast to bring you all of the action. And still not done. And looking forward to tomorrow morning. Obviously, Ben, myself, and Conrad, can't forget him, who's been with us every step of the way as well, our fantastic producer, helping to make everything look as slick and clean as it does. We'll all be back again in just a handful of hours, 6-7 hours from now. I don't even think that much. I want to say it's like 7. Yeah, so, yeah, by the time all's said and done, it'll be 6 or 7 hours we'll be ready to bring you some more Western play. But you guys are really the reason that the D2L exists. So thanks to everyone who has spent time with us today and every day throughout Season 4. All right, pause is off, and we're ready to get underway. TongFu moving his 5. Looks like Rising Stars seems to have very little interest in trying to challenge the Radiant Jungles. Those going to lead with the Chen moving across the way here, and we'll see how dedicated they are to this movement. Look out. He's going to spot out the Morphling. Miracle.
This is the same thing as last time. They did an off-lane Morphling. So if TongFu has done their homework, they'll know what Rising Stars likes to play as, which is pretty much for create space for Miracle. And I think they can just bring it to them as 5, but the problem is they have an anti-mage in their lineup, so they can't really bring it to them as 5. But TongFu has a very good late game oriented lineup. I don't really think they feel the pressure to keep down a Morphling when they can just farm up on their own, which is the safer, less risky strategy.
And a little bit of warning going down. Zoe hanging out, watching out for the rune.
The battle begins.
And will be spawning at bottom. Invis, it will be. Let's see if Zoe wants to be the one to grab it. He will. And we can see QQQ and XDD trying to make sure they keep an eye on things. And look at this Sentry Ward placement, by the way, right outside of the Sentry Ward down in the river.
Yep, that is very unfortunate for them. Too predictable with Earthshaker. You guys got to do something different. I think I've seen some like creative like usage of the Fissure over here too. And Radiant side, we've seen like Fissure play over here. So people have to think outside the box. What are you going to do if it's blocked and you use 2 sentries? You have to think of new ways to get experience.
QQQ.
That is what he's like. Oh man, I wasted 200 gold.
Yep, exactly. Throwing down the 2 sentries. And just look at this. That is just beautiful placement of that sentry. So if you're watching at home and you see one of the cheesy Earthshaker all picks that is insta-locked and you know they're going to do this, right there you go. That's where you drop your sentry if you want to shut that down. While the lanes take shape, we will take a look at who's handling who. We'll have the Animage played by Zoe. We're going to have Visage played by Songsheng. Songsheng plays a lot of Visage, very skilled at the hero. ZSMJ will be playing on our Vengeful Spirit. No doubt he'll be roaming around quite a bit early. XTT setting up shop with the Mag, one-on-one with the Bat up in that off lane. And Moo going to be taking the Alchemist mid on the other side of the river. QQQ still doing what he can to block the creeps, but no one's home, just trying to delay their progress down the lane on that Earthshaker. CTY, once again, going back to mid. He'll be playing on Viper, and he's had some very good Viper games in the Eastern Division play, so that's a hero that's going to be well within his wheelhouse. XDD going to be handling our Rubik, while Miracle farms up the Morphling, looking to have a repeat performance of his standout game just a week or so ago, and King J will be handling the Bat.
Rising Stars is not adapting well to this early game. They're still sitting at 0 experience for QQQ, 0 experience for the Rubik, and 0 experience, or actually 36 experience for the Morphling. What they should be doing is just like chilling the jungle over here, chill down here, try and get experience from the creeps that are being pulled. Instead, they're just running around with their heads cut off, being like, well, I can't ancient pull. What do I do now? And finally they smoke, but it's been 2 minutes since they've actually done anything. And that is a lot of time. Looking at the experience graph, no surprise there. 750 in favor of TongFu. ZSMJ level 2 right now. We see Visage level 2, but if they get a first blood, then that will be totally worth it. Moo has his bottle, and looks like they know the rotation's coming because an illusion, Morphling illusion is coming.
Moo playing very, very safe up at top. We can see XTT hanging and banging with King J. They're going to go ahead and send XDD on up. Obviously, not the easiest thing to gank a mag, as he's bound to have put at least 1 point in the skewer by level 4. And Moo taking a little bit of abuse here in mid. They're going to come back. They're continuing to waste a bit of time, though. Very little experience on either side. And they're going to need to fire something off soon. But here's a rotation out of TongFu, and they're going to might be able to catch CTY asleep at the wheel now, as they know that they're trying to rotate. Here we go. Unstable concoction. They're going to throw out the acid spray as well. Fissured going to disjoint
DSMJ
things.
might die to the tower.
Taking a lot of tower damage. That's going to be taken away by Sansheng there. And Rising Stars able to dodge the bullet that time. They thought maybe QQQ was rotating up the top lane, misjudged it. He was there for the fissure, and quite a high-value fissure it was.
But Zoe getting a lot of CS on bottom. He actually doesn't have as many as a Bat Rider. Bat Rider is sitting at 21 right now. Viper also sitting very high on the CS charts with 18. So CTY holding it down in the mid lane, as CTY usually does. So Miracle, 8 last hits. He is suffering, but he did walk all the way from here to here. I don't know why he didn't just TP. It would have been more efficient, but maybe he didn't have enough gold. I wasn't actually checking at the time. But XDT is gonna not be able to zone 2P zone out. He has his boots. He has a stout shield. Morphling with his absolute crap 350 range can't really do that much versus him.
Yep. Outside of maybe a little burst from waveform, I mean, he would have to basically let himself get whittled down to about half health before they would even have a chance, and that's assuming they hit a fissure and a telekinesis to be able to bring him down. So, as you said, feeling quite survivable at the moment. Speaking of survivability, CTY will be getting himself the mechanism, has the headdress in the inventory already. So he's making some pretty good progress, sitting in second place in CS behind only the anti-mage. TongFu, though, I mean, getting the anti-mage off to a good start, obviously very important. We have been seeing a proliferation of mid-game oriented anti-mages. So get up your Battle Fury, rush out of Vlad's, start showing up the fights early, try to get your Manta style at a good time, then get ready to team fight even after that before survivability comes out.
ZSMJ, though, look at his positioning. King J is also rotating the bottom, but QQQ is there to scout out this gank. I think they can kill CTY. It's going to take a lot, though. He has level 3 corrosive skin. He has 4 armor, which is not that great. They're going for the kill right now.
And they're going to go for it. There's the unstable concoction. Channel down the 2 seconds. Beautiful fissure, disjoints it, but the magic missile is there. Can Moo? Nope, he can't. Even with the haste rune, deciding it's not the time. And we're going to see Miracle go after ZSMJ. One more auto attack will do it. Can't catch him. Sans boots. Had the money to buy boots a long-ass time ago. Now they're going to re-engage off of the Grave Chill. There's the unstable concoction. Has him down to about a quarter health, but unwilling to try to follow that up. Sansheng does have Soul Assumption. Didn't even try to spend it there. That's a little surprising.
I don't think they had vision up the hill. Oh, actually they did. They had this ward. So, yeah, I think it would have been very, very close to killing him. So it looks like Rubik will be getting experience up top. And Miracle, this is a lot different from what we see him usually play as. Like, he has moved lanes twice already, and now his CS is suffering as a result. But they still don't have a solution for bottom lane. King J is just not able to do anything over there because they still have Sansheng sitting down there. They had him as a reward too. King J is forced to jungle, but he's going to have to contest Sansheng for it.
Moo going 1-on-2, at least for the moment. Don't know if he knows QQQ is there, but he certainly is. Has enough mana for a fissure. They're going to go ahead and bring King J over. Well, never mind. He's just kind of fire flying, leaving a trail in his wake, taking CS and causing problems where he can. Zoe, though, 42 CS at 6 minutes. Pretty legit farm, my friend. He is sitting quite pretty. His GPM up near 390, and at this level, that's considerable.
King J has a invis, and he's level 6. He can potentially get a lasso on someone, pull them in a tower, walk them off with Earthshaker, and then get an easy kill. But that requires Alchemist to actually be in mid. He looks like he's going to TP back very, very shortly. They have him as a reward, but they did not scout him out because he went all the way around, popped his invis rune up here, and is just waiting for him to return. Is King J... Looks like they're going to go... looks like he's just doesn't know where they are. Yep, Moo is just walking back.
Yep, not going to be spending his TP yet. Let's see if King J's got the patience. About a quarter time on that invis. If he wants to go for something, XTT not nearly as appetizing a target. Yeah, he's not even going to try to make an attempt on anything. Moo's going to arrive just... And if he had just stayed put, he probably could have caught him out instead. Pops the invis and goes to work jungling.
Yeah, he will get his blink. Oh, man, he has 900 gold. That's pretty decent, I guess, considering he's got to rotate lanes. But this bottom tower is just going to go down uncontested. Not even a Glyph Pop. Is Zoe going to get the last hit? No, he will not.
And Zoe not going to get the bonus gold. Fun fact, though, whenever you let the creeps get the tower and there's not any hero that gets the last hit, it's actually more gold spread out across the 5 heroes. Not by much, but by a little.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they changed it. I don't.
Did they?
Um,
It used to
yeah,
be.
they changed it in a recent patch. So it used to give slightly more gold. It was like maybe 50 more gold to everyone else. But with
King
the recent
J.
change, we
Caught
don't
him.
actually suffer at all. Yeah, he
Got
was dead.
him. First
Easy
blood.
first blood.
Yep, drawn by Zoe. King J getting a little too big for his britches. Fire flying over. And getting caught out in the process. 1-0. TongFu finally gets something going at 8 minutes.
TongFu just doing well in all three lanes though. Zoe just free farming on bottom, 59 CS in 8 minutes and almost a tower kill. We see Mag just getting a ton of experience on top. Level 7 with arcane boots, halfway to his, a third way to his blink dagger rather. And Mu and mid has not died yet, even with a lot of heroes rotating. I'd say probably like 5 heroes have come mid so far. TTY doing well in CS, but that's because he's had a lot of babysit coming his way.
All things considered, Mu isn't farming poorly either. I mean, he's sitting at 30 CS, certainly not tops on the board by any stretch, but up against the pressure he's been against, how many, so many rotations, a lot of action, hasn't gotten the kills I think he wanted. He would be sitting much prettier if he had managed to even just get 1 kill during one of those rotations from the rest of his team. But still, I mean, getting some gold going with 32 CS and coming up on level 8 now. Hasn't put a single point into Grievel's Greed. Very much going with the fight build, and I suspect TongFu is going to really put that Alchemist to work before long.
Yeah, it's been a very close early game. Like Mu picking up a lucky haste room prevented him from dying, but Rising Stars really good positioning, also preventing TongFu from getting an earlier flush blood than they already did. So just a lot of small things, not just balancing out for either team. Really, QQQ level 3 though. He needs some levels. 9 minutes in, this is not where you want to be with your Shaker.
Ooh. CTY actually wanted to Viper Strike there, thought better of it, and canceled it mid animation. And maybe assuming XDD would be there to come to try and jump on him and make something happen. Down at bottom, Zoe just continues to go to work. He's got 69 CS. We're coming up on 10 minutes in. He's going to have his Battle Fury up at an insane clip.
Yeah, QQQ needs levels like just so badly. Like I say level 6 by like 13 minutes is a decent pace. It probably won't even come out by then.
King J continuing to bounce between lanes. He's spending a lot of time just hoofing it or flapping it, I guess as the case may be. And Mu going to come on over back to mid. But, I mean, TongFu has done a great job just in stabilizing the early game to get that anti-mage the start he wants. Looks like King J is going to go ahead and take to the skies. He will be spotted out by ZSMJ, who is under cover of an invis. They're going to collapse on him. This could be another death. Nope, he will make it back. Duck back for another sticky napalm charge. Looks like he will be able to make it away as the SMJ kind of missed his opportunity. Battle Fury done now. 10 and a half minutes.
This is so fast.
That's after brown boots, too. So it's not even like a true rush where you sometimes in a situation where you have free farm literally skip brown boots. Got it up at 10.
And they have the empower for him too. So things are looking really bad for Rising Stars. The early game just not going as expected. QQQ and XDD just being super unlow right now, not close to his ultimates. Bat Rider has his blink dagger though. Can they make things happen? They need kills. They need kills on Magnus before he gets his blink dagger. They need kills on Mu too before he gets his mech. It's just look at this triple ancient stack too.
Yep. And beginning to melt it down with Acid Spray, one of the fun things you can do with that mid Alchemist. If you start to feel not safe in that lane, you can always go do this. Midas going to be the pickup on CTY, and can't say I'm a fan. It comes out at a decent clip, but they know how good of a start that Anti-Mage had. Why would you intentionally want to farm against an Anti-Mage who you know is up?
They're counting on him and more being able to carry in the late game.
And
that bird scout, my goodness.
Didn't even see where it happened. Looks like
right here. Look at that ice frog. Ice frog is dead.
Poor guy. We'll give our second frowny face. That's a frowny face on the courier too. But 1-0. This has been as quiet a game as we've seen in the entire 4th season of the D2L. Don't know that we've seen.
They have a blink on King J. Are they going to scout him out with this ward? Yes, they will. It's like right in vision. So, is he actually going to move out there? King J.
Looks like
he goes.
Yep,
XCT, did he not see this coming?
Up there's the lasso. He's got RP together. Can they burst him down fast enough? RP caught a bunch. QQQ was there to try and catch him out. And in the end, the fissure. Don't know that it secured the kill, but certainly helped things out. The RP caught a whole hell of a lot of them. Just no rotation, no quick response coming out of TongFu. And Rising Stars makes their way onto the board, making 1-1.
two things, or actually three things went poorly. Firstly, they didn't follow up after King J's lasso. They could have telekinesed or flame break to try and prevent him from getting its RP off, and that like leads me to believe like if that happens later and he hits a 3-man RP after he gets lasso, that absolutely should not happen. And secondly, XTT had vision. Like I clicked on the observer ward, he was like right in this green line over here, and he just died. They didn't ping him out, so maybe they didn't see him. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he should not have died there.
You can see the boots coming out of plenty on both sides. Zoe now has his treads to go with his Battle Fury. 13 minutes in, and he can begin to split push rather reliably, or just duck into the jungle. It's really when you get your treads and your Battle Fury on an anti-mage that you can just start running the circuit, as some folk, myself included, call it, whenever you just duck into the jungle and just go ape, cleaning up and getting the gold, and that's exactly what we're going to see him do right now. Smoke's coming out on both sides. There's a mechanism done on this Alchemist. Now, this is going to be a question. CTY deciding he wanted that Midas first. He's got about 1,000 gold to go until he has up his own mechanism. Let's see if TongFu can abuse that. Spawning out the mech change up on CTY. Are they going to group up as 4, maybe even as 5 if Zoe wants to show up just to throw out a mana void?
Smoke from 3 Rising Stars. Heroes QQQ still only level 4 though. But King J, he has his lasso back up. Somebody's going to get lassoed. XCT is ready for it though. XCT has blink. Uh-oh.
Here we go. Mukon out. There's the mechanism. Buys a little bit of time. They have to focus everything on him. There's going to be a skewer onto CTY. Zoe does come out and will pick up the kill. They end up going 2 for 1 as they lose the Vengeful Spirit as well. And the mech certainly bought a little bit of time. And
not bad at all. Viper bought his buckler right before, and he only has reliable gold now, so that was a big win for Rising Stars there, actually.
RS takes the lead in kills as we approach 15 minutes now. We'll take a look and see where the farm happens to be. Still very much in TongFu's favor. They're sitting at plus 3,000. The experience coming up on plus 4,000 as well, so Rising Stars may be making a dent, at the very least putting a Band-Aid on an open wound. They're going to have to continue to do work, though.
So the Zoe factor, when's it going to start kicking in? 2,200 gold to his name. He can pick up his Yasha right now. I don't see a reason why not. He can go Vlads if he really wants to do Roshan, but I think he just power farms his jungle with Yasha and then just gets a Mantis out. There's, I mean, not a really good reason not to. I don't think that either team really wants to fight right now. Mag has his blink, and Viper doesn't have his mech yet, but Anti-Mage still in farm mode.
Oh, they certainly don't want to fight, man, but they do want to fight somehow. XTT and ZSMJ.
I don't know why XTT didn't RP there. He had like at least 3-man RP if he RP'd.
Looks like he wants to make up for it. ZSMJ is level 6, has Swamp if he wants it. Level 1 Swamp actually is ridiculously low in range. Just really hard to utilize at this level.
Not as low range as Bat Rider's nerfed ultimate.
No joke.
That thing is hard to hit.
Yeah, it is.
And a miracle.
There's the RP, following it up with the magic missile, and of course the unstable concoction, bursting him down quick, fast, and in a hurry. So TongFu getting a very high priority kill, and you know, one or two more of those is really going to hurt Rising Star's chances in a very real way.
I don't know. He bought his Ghost Scepter too, so even though they're getting kills, they're not actually losing gold, and they're not really getting towers yet either. Like if they get a tower after push, that's another thing. But like Rising Stars may actually counter with a tower of their own first.
There's a TP in the mid. I'm actually surprised they're not. Yeah, okay, they are going to hang around. I was going to say I'm surprised if they don't push this out, especially given Zoe's had such a good... Oh, okay, there was an Echo Slam that did nothing. Now they're going to try to reinitiate. Lasso on the Zoe. Good catch, but King J slowed down. Mana Void might end up going off. He's just going to bang down QQQ. One more auto attack will do it. In the meantime, the battle rages behind us. MM up and ready to fight, but TongFu taking another big battle. And
Zoe, was unscathed.
Yep. And we're going to have CTY skewered back. Beautiful blink skewer. Can they turn it into a kill? They can. In fact, they can give it to Zoe. They're actually prioritizing letting Zoe take these last hits. And it's making all the difference in the world. He's got his ultimate orb up. He almost has his Yasha up. He's very realistically going to have Treads, Battle Fury, Manta up well before 20 minutes.
Yeah, they are just getting totally outplayed in this mid game. The blink on Mag just coming out way too fast and furious. And Bat Rider trying to lasso an anti-mage when you don't have any physical damage to follow up, that is not the right idea. He needs to get the Mag preferably or the Alchemist, but they just have so many ways to stop him with a swap, with a blink RP to counter, with an unstable concoction of their own. So it's like Bat Rider's good if you can actually separate them and isolate them and pick off, but he's only been able to get one kill like that thus far, and that was on the Mag up top.
You know, I wish we hadn't a Has around. Maybe he'll hear this on a VOD tomorrow or something. I'm coming to the conclusion. I think Animage is an absolute beast in 6.7.
Outwent Midas.
Of course he did. Why wouldn't you? I mean, well, in this case, it makes sense. I mean, I don't mind it because the Animage is going so crazy. You can afford to maybe take a little bit of a chance knowing you're ahead. I don't think it's necessary, but I don't mind it nearly as much as if, like, the Morphling decided to spend that 1,600 gold instead of on a Ghost Scepter to get a Midas. Like, that's the kind of thing would have made me rage. But, at any rate, I think every time we've seen Animage since 6.79, I'm pretty sure we've seen him just utterly dominate. Now, granted, I don't know that we've seen him win every time, but I would love to see some stats on how... Yep. I would love to see some stats on how he's fared. We're going to see them pursue this out. CTY going to be caught with the Grave Chillers, a Skewer, and an RP. Onto QQQ. They're going to lose CTY. Now the lasso by King J dragging XTT away, but really the RP was spent. That made no sense. Oh, nice swap. As low range as that is. Might have got him anyway, but you know what? Do it with some finesse, right, ZSMJ?
Easy T2.
Yep.
Easy T2 for them. I mean, Morphling, yeah, Miracle just plays like this all the time. Doesn't really help his team out. I mean, not that he would have made it that big of a difference there, but, like, they cannot 4-on-5, not with Rubik and Earthshaker having the really poor start that they did. That Sentry Ward right here just completely forestalled their early game.
Yep. And we saw it. I mean, the positioning of it was just absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, that's something that I think is emerging as a trend as well. Just to finish my thought, we've seen Animage a few times at 6.79 play now, and it seems like he just fits into this new meta very, very effectively. The way, especially the way people are building him. I mean, this is a more typical build coming out on Zoe, but getting an early Vlads is becoming something that works extremely well, especially when he's on the same team with a Visage. You can rush a Medallion and make an early Roche very, very good. I'd love to see some stats about Animage's performance in 6.79. I think it would be surprising how well the hero's doing across the board. But aside from that, just to echo your point, I mean, like you said, they're having a hard time formatting, as they damn well should. And Miracle, to be honest, has taken a couple of deaths. He's still a ways away from completing his Death Blade.
They just let TongFu get way too much. Like, Alchemist already with Mech and Midas. Magnus had a very early blink and Arcane Boost. They just didn't have any sort of lane control in any lane.
Looks like they want to try to trade a tier 1. Problem is, they're going to end up giving away a tier 2 for it as well. Zoe can just one-shot buy a Vlad's right now if he wants it. Hell, he's going to have enough for a Reaver in 900 gold. This Animage is so completely out of control. He is at 13, almost 14,000 net worth at 20 minutes into the game. He is doubling the highest net worth on the other side of the team at 20 minutes into this game. They take the tier 2 as easily as anyone could have asked, and now they're forcing a reaction back to the tier 3. They might not stop. Hell, they may try to take a fight with an RP up. And they will decide to go ahead and back out. At bottom, we see Miracle was trying to push a bit. Zoe's going to show up to take all that farm. He's actually going to pursue him out, at least posture as if he was going to. TongFu going to go ahead and bite the bullet and pull back, at least for the moment. But, yeah, the gold graph plus 10,000 in favor of TongFu. Looks like they're in about as good a position as you can ask to be when you have an anti-mage.
Miracle and the rest of Rising Stars, they can't take a fight right now. The threat of RP is just way too strong, and he's almost always going to be able to get it off. He has Blink, he has Force Staff, so if he gets Viper Striking, so Force Staff in, he has Skewer too. He's just a very highly mobile hero. There's no reason he shouldn't get his RP off unless King J has an amazing Initiate on Batrider. But as we've seen thus far, he's only been able to get one, and this 4 create space for 1 is just not working out. Earthshaker and Rubik still really contributing nil to anything going on around the map. TongFu can just straight up take a Roche right now. Rising Stars can't really do anything about it, even though 6.78 Batrider was king of the Roshan pit.
One shot BKB. Zoe opting to go with flat out magic immunity instead of worrying about something as petty as hit points. He's actually sitting at 1200 with Manta Style and his Blink, of course. He has some pretty solid innate survivability. Just like that, there's not a single outer tier tower remaining for Rising Stars. That is not something you can allow to happen at 22 minutes with an Alchemist and an Anti-Mage. I don't think they're going to have to do it, and I don't think they will do it. But at this point, TongFu could literally just spend the next 20 minutes choking Rising Stars in 6 slot every hero on their team with next to no threat.
They really could, and just like use solo RPs on people that are split pushing. TongFu just takes an easy Roshan. Zoe has 236 last hits in 22 minutes. That is some insane farm. 16,000. He's almost double the Morphling's farm right now. Morphling's net worth rather. EB is up, but I mean, Anti-Mage has mana to split it out. He has BKB. He has 4 points of spell shit. He is level 17. King J looks like he's gonna die.
King J, fire flying, got to be tracked down by XTT. He's got a force staff, but the blink showed off by King J as well. They're going to skewer after him and spin the RP because hell, why not? They're in good enough shape. It simply doesn't matter. And with that Aegis up, I think we might see a tier 3 pushed here. There's really no, I mean, unless they just want to wait on RP to come back off cooldown to guarantee it's a successful push. But even then, 22.
They want to kill Morphling.
He's got a replicant up's the problem. Yep, there you go. He pieces out, and yep, at this point, just kind of chasing around some kills. It's actually a Yasha build coming out on Mu as well. Now it's going to be an S&Y build.
I think he can only kill Vengeful Spirit at this point, and even then, that's questionable with the shotgun.
Yep.
Like, everyone else is just so tanky. Anti-Mage, 1500 HP, tons of magic resist. Visage, 1500 HP, tons of magic resist. Magnus, I guess probably Magnus too, but he has Force Staff as well. Skewer Alchemist, no way, not with a mech and 1500 HP.
And tier 3 now the target. Off goes the acid spray. Let's see what XTD got. Managed to get Blink. Not the best defensive spell in the world. Certainly helps you run away. But Zoe ready to fight and not going to accept anything else. He will be lassoed out. Do they have the burst? They do. So they're going to be able to spend his Aegis. And QQQ just keeps spinning Echo Slams for no particular reason. Like, that did not do anything to add to that kill. Now we're going to see Zoe. Wow. Yep, he's going to end up dead again. Here comes the rest of the team, though, and Alchemist is no slouch, going to work. We see the F-Blade showed off by Miracle. They're going to use... Oh, Visage almost managed to get CTY there. San Sheng now locked down. And looks like...
That was a disaster.
Yeah. Zoe...
Absolute disaster.
Zoe... You saw Zoe get, you assumed with Zoe playing like that, he knows he's going to get jumped. And you would think the idea is lose your Aegis. That way your team can engage off of your respawn. And the rest of his team just kind of hung out and said, "Oh, you're dying. That's a shame."
Blinked in and skewered back instead of blinking in RP. Where is the RP? Why are these Magnuses saving RP for like the perfect 5-man moment? You just have to use it sometimes. Yeah. Like they just let Zoe die twice. I mean, it was his fault because he got caught out and he didn't pop BKB. But still, at the same time, he has defensive swap. He has mech. He has a blink RP. There are ways to counter initiate. And I mean, but when you get drug into the T4, this is just not a good place to fight. So yeah. I mean, with that, Rising Stars can delay the game for like at least 10 more minutes because TongFu is just going to be super scared. They lost so much there. They lost pretty much 4 lives.
Yep. And I mean, it's so easy for us as casters and you guys as viewers. I mean, we have access to 12,000 golds, hugely. Same with experience, and yeah, they can check the levels and such. But, this is one of those situations, after a fight like that, it's easy to lose grasp on just how far ahead you are.
They have RP up. They're looking for a kill. If they get a kill on QQQ, doesn't matter because he's level 8. CTY, a bigger deal, but he does have buyback. Looks like everyone is retreating. They're sniffing it out. That feeling when you're like, oh shit, all 5 of them are in this thing. Rising Stars definitely get that feeling right now.
End up getting that tummy ache, that uncomfortable feeling where your eyes get all big and you start just slowly inching your way back towards the tower or side shop to buy a TP scroll.
They will see AM blink, I believe. I don't know. Oh, their smoke's about to pop off, and Miracle seems like he feels safe. They're gonna see Mu. Yeah, they see Mu right now. So now they know where their team is. Miracle can farm safely. Well, Viper went S&Y. Gross. He needs Scepter. Just keep spamming on Anti-Mage. Make his BKB useless, but whatever. CTY will be CTY. It costs the same amount of gold, like 50 gold, I believe, or 4,100. That's very, very close to Scepter cost.
Visage gonna summon his bros, 2 little familiars on the way, and Mu stands a BKB makes much more. Well, I mean, obviously having it.
They're going for another push. They don't have Glyph up right now, and King J has to be there. They need to pretty much do the exact same thing.
XCD throws out the unstable concoction, and there's a fissure to help delay things. Mu's cut off a little bit. They may try to engage you. He pops the ulti, being spammed down. They just don't have the firepower. There's a stun on the CTY. They're gonna get the tier 3 for sure. Zoe now up in front, and the damage coming out from him and Mu, nothing to shake a stick at. XTT hanging near the back. Are they going to back off? Roche will be back up sometime in the next few minutes. And, yeah, looks like they're happy to just take a tier 3 and fall back and farm.
they just weren't prepared for that. I think that King J just has to go initiate. They can't just lose T3 for free. They didn't have Glyph up. I mean, at least they didn't get the racks, but that was still very, very bad fight for Rising Stars. Yeah, they could have taken it.
And
I guess it's too risky for them.
Yep, just wanting to play. I mean, it comes down to what I said before, and I mean, the truth is they kind of threw a fight there in mid, and probably a little gun shy after that, but they do have a lineup that literally can choke this Rising Stars squad out basically to death. Rising Stars, the only thing that they can really reliably do is defend their tier 3, just because it's naturally pretty freaking difficult to crack a tier 3, let alone against a lineup with an Earthshaker and with a Bad Rider. So they can do that, but every time they move out on the map like this, it gets very dangerous very quickly, because TongFu just has such an open field fighting squad that even with a nice lasso from King J, unless things just line up perfectly, they're going to have a very hard time having the damage to bring down Anti-Mage, to bring down that Alchemist as well.
Need some big RPs, man. Who are the premier Asian mags? I think Yao and Super, and everyone else is just like, have you played mag before? That's what it looks like.
Super is... honestly, Mag's just a perfect hero for Super, and you and I spoke at length in his last appearance here in the D2L about what it is that makes him such a reliable mid and such a often underrated by everyone except pro players. Like, you ask any professional player who's a good mid out of the East, they will always use Super's name, and the reason is he just makes so few mistakes. He really does play a very patient game, very S4-ish. Maybe even a little more patient, a little bit more.
It's not even only that he doesn't make mistakes, he also capitalizes on opportunities given to him. Like, okay, they're all sitting around Anti-Mage after his Aegis pops. Hey, there's like 4 people there for an RP. Like, Super, Blink, RP, boom. Fight turned around, BKB on Anti-Mage. Just wear him down with a big Mana Void at the end. It's pretty simple. But, like, they just don't capitalize on opportunities that are given to them.
CTY going to be skewered backwards. And here comes Moo. We'll get off a full charge on the Unstable Concoction, chasing down QQQ. In the meantime, here the swap and the fight break out behind as Zoe pops the BKB. They're going to be able to get King J for sure. That's 2 down, Bat plus Shaker. And TongFu loses nothing for it.
That was without an RP too.
Yep. And he winded up for it 2 or 3 times and hung on to it. So that time it worked out. Zoe going to be telekinesed. And looks like he probably got Blink again, and he did. And Roche should be back up, yeah, very, very shortly.
I think that he should have stuck with Acid Spray. Acid Spray is very, very good against Magnus because he has to stand out of it. Oftentimes you'll see a whiffed RP because of the Acid Spray. I think it's a much better spell for him to have than Blink. Unless he can steal RP, but it does, I mean, if he uses RP.
You know, talking about heroes that are going to help make the Anti-Mage and the Alchemist better, we didn't even really touch on the fact that Vengeance Aura plus Empower, that's pretty freaking legit, man. You can't call it dual Aura because obviously Empower is a buff. But the way those 2 abilities are going to work together with 2 physical DPSs.
Oh, Abyssal on Zoe.
Yep.
Ouch.
Just finished it up. And still 900 gold to go aside from it. XTT, if XTT...
Oh, they see...
Oh, they're going to spend it on Miracle. Can they burst him? There's the Abyssal... Morphing through it. They can't. Nope, he's able to get away. So QQQ going to be cleaned up next. Now Zoe going to engage CTY next on the list of targets. BKB keeps him plenty safe. And now Moo going to work. There's a swap from ZSMJ, but not accomplishing a whole hell of a lot. CTY was the one they did manage to bring down. Miracle made it away that time, and we're going to have a buyback for CTY. Now they're going to catch Moo. There's the lasso to try and drag him back. CTY doing what he can. Moo already feeling very tanky, though. Miracle going to be caught out. Morphed almost entirely to agility and paid the price for it there. ZSMJ re-engaged upon, but forcing the buyback on the Morphling. Basically makes this next engagement not going to be now. Probably going to be a Roche fight, if anything. But the next time these 2 teams meet is going to be a complete all-in for Rising Stars. So much gold spent just keeping those towers up.
Yeah, that's what buyback on Viper, buyback on Morphling, buyback on Bat Rider, as well as Earthshaker. So 4 out of 5 buybacks. The only hero who didn't is Rubik. And Rubik, I mean, to be honest, doesn't really matter that much. He hasn't stolen any big spells. But yeah, Rising Stars are in a very, very difficult position right now. Their next buyback is going to be 30% longer because of that patch. If they sneak a Roche in, however, then they can get better right back in the game. But Visage Birds with a Scepter upgrade too.
And Moving into the Roche pit, they're going to try to sneak this out. They're going to go right after it. Roche will melt quickly. In fact, this is going to be a coup for them as TongFu is really not in position to even begin to challenge this.
15 seconds, though. They're going to have RP up by the time this fight's over. One big RP and game's over.
Roche continuing to melt pretty quickly. They got to get there soon. Already down to half health. Zoe's on the way. ZSMJ's on the way. Here comes the man of the hour. XTT needs to shine right now.
Stop XTT right now. If they don't stop him, it's over.
Yep. Oh, the fissure actually blocked in CTY. There's the RP onto Miracle. Zoe gets the kill. Only a one-man RP, but it was the one they needed. Anti-Mage picks up the Aegis, and that's going to be all she wrote. All done but the crying now. Zoe pursues out the poor Shaker. QQQ. Swap back and turned around XTT. Passes right in front. The burst is there. Double kill going his way. Now ready to push down this bottom lane. And, you know, I guess you could say Rising Stars made a game of it down the stretch. A little bit more than one would expect given how lopsided the gold graph has been and for how long it's been that way. But
the supports aren't adaptive enough. Just one simple sentry ward just completely screwed their whole entire game. And if you let 100 gold just screw you over like that, I mean, it really goes to show how far this team has to come. Their support's just not flexible enough.
King J trying to make a run. Nope, going to be brought down with a Mana Void. And GG's come out. So TongFu ends their Eastern schedule with a win. And that's going to be win number 3. Haven't run all the numbers yet. Pretty sure, though, that TongFu, even with that win, their chances of making the playoffs slim, if not non-existent. They started out doing really well here in the Eastern Division, but ended up dropping so many series in a row after the first half of their schedule that even with this win, just not really going to be enough for them, I don't think. Rising Stars, once again, on the bad end of the losing stick. And, you know, I want to see this team do well because you can see how many, I mean, when they put it all together, it's a very pretty picture. It's just they're having a hard time of reliably putting it together with any sort of consistency.
Yeah, this team, Miracle has to work better together with his team. 0, 3, and 4 on the Morphling. They lack teamwork. They lack good movement from the supports as well as King J. King J really looked for that invis gank and just unable to do anything. He got his Blink Dagger, but he only really had two good actually, blastos that game. So I think they have the individual skill, just need to refine it a little bit more.
19-7, the final kill score, 33 minutes, 49 seconds. The official game time, and we can put this day in the books. Not just this day, yesterday, and I guess technically today, or whatever. We've been casting, as of right now, 8 best-of-3s across 24 hours. Been an absolute blast. I've been your host, Aaron AC Chambers, here on the HyperX D2L Season 4. We're going to sign off because we all need some sleep, and we got to be back here at 9 in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Before we do, though, Merlini, my friend, thank you so much for being here as always. It's a pleasure to have you as a co-casting partner and as part of the D2L family. And before we say our good nights and our goodbyes, of course, drop them deets, drop that info, my friend. Where can everyone who has enjoyed your commentary as much as I have find more about you?
Well, follow me on Twitter at Merlini Dota. That's all I'm going to give because I am beat.
There we go. I actually guessed right that time. That's what I got to remember. Left, right, CC, and I'll just smack my mic around. It's what we do whenever we get tired and angry. We are both beat, so I'm not going to hang around too much longer. Remember, though, guys, tomorrow we're right back in action, probably only like 5-6 hours from now, so we're going to try to get what sleep we can. Western Division Dota, 7 days a week beginning today with Alliance versus Navi. Those 2 series already done. Tuesday's action, of course, going to continue to roll 7 days a week with a triple header on Thursday and probably more as we look ahead and begin to see our playoff picture take shape, not just in the East, but soon to be in the West as well. 2 weeks of various action. You can find me, by the way, on Twitter as well. I'm at AC, as you saw it pop up. Connie just took it away before I could point to it, but it's all right. Ain't even mad, that's right. At AC, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and elsewhere under ACTV. Myself, Merlini, on behalf of all of us, and of course of all of our great sponsors, Kingston HyperX, Monster Energy, Astro Headsets, and Razer. Thanks, guys. We will see you soon. Until then, enjoy your evening, morning, or afternoon, and enjoy some Dota.